This is Murder in the Morning with Tony Bruschi and Stacey Cole.
It took a terrified 911 call from a young woman named Shannan Gilbert to expose what had been hiding in plain sight. 11 sets have remained scattered along Gilgo Beach. The work of a serial killer who had eluded justice for decades. In May of 2010, Shannan Gilbert disappeared after placing a frantic 22-minute call to 911 insisting that someone was trying to kill her. She ran through the quiet, gated community of Oak Beach, banging on doors for help before vanishing into the marshland. It wasn't just her sudden disappearance that rattled Suffolk County. It was what investigators stumbled upon during the search for her. In the thick brush off Ocean Parkway, police discovered a set of human remains, and then another, and another. By the time they were done, there were 11 victims, 9 women, 1 toddler, 1 man. It was a horrifying find, but even worse, it begged a question. How did no one notice this sooner? For years, the investigation dragged with no real traction. Families begged for answers. Reporters, press, the public speculated. And all the while, Suffolk County PD maintained tight control over the case. But in the background, something else was quietly rotting. Police leadership, specifically then Police Chief James Burke, who was later convicted in a corruption scandal involving the beating of a handcuffed suspect and a massive cover-up operation. And that kind of mess didn't just tarnish reputations, it delayed justice. There's also a lot of questions about James Burke as to traveling in the same circles as a lot of these victims. He allegedly had a penchant for that sort of stuff. Fast forward 13 years, on July 14th of 2023, police arrested Rex Heuermann, a 59-year-old architect from Massapequa Park, New York. He lived in a seemingly ordinary life, communicating to Midtown Manhattan for work and returning home to a quiet suburban street. But authorities now say Heuermann is connected to at least 7 of the victims, and possibly even more. So how did they finally catch him? Well, the answer lies in a long overdue task force that within weeks of being formed in 2022 under new leadership, connected the dots that had been missed or ignored for over a decade. Cell phone data, burner phones, search history, and DNA evidence from pizza crust. Yes, a New York slice, all pointed directly to Heuermann. Turns out all of the evidence that had been sitting in police files for years. There's a new Netflix docuseries coming out. Yes, I know, another documentary. Who's excited? Gone Girls, the Long Island serial killer, directed by Liz Garbus, picks up where justice left off. Garbus doesn't just walk us through the crime scenes. She drags the system into the light. It's raw, it's personal, and it doesn't let the viewer look away. Garbus is no stranger to the story. Back in 2020, she directed Lost Girls, a scripted film based on Robert Kolker's book, which centered on Mari Gilbert's relentless fight for justice after her daughter Shannan vanished. After Heuermann's arrest, actress Amy Ryan, who portrayed Mari in the film, texted Garbus in shock. Rex Heuermann, the suspect, she found out had once been in her apartment building. The girl who's playing this person in the film that he's alleged to have killed. There. A literal brush with evil. I mean, that's so creepy. I don't... We were talking off the air about this a little bit. And I said, well, I mean, he is an architect. So maybe he's going in and out of building. There could be some possible logical reasons why he'd be in an apartment building that's not his, with what he does for a living. But the odds are pretty slim. I mean, come on. It's New York. I mean, there's a gazillion frickin' buildings in New York. To have the odds that it's specific ones that Rex is working on, probably even less. I'm going to guess Rex had a bit of a fixation. What do you think?
Oh, I absolutely think so. I would love to know why he was in that building. I mean, it's something that I don't know if they're going to talk about that in the docuseries. It's
Yeah,
not out yet,
yeah.
but I would like to know why he was there. Was it work related, or did he just suddenly show up and try to get access to the building for some reason? Was there somebody in that building that he was meeting up with that is now dead? I mean, it'd be really interesting to find out what's going on here.
Because this is the actress. It's
Yeah.
not the women who were sex workers. It's not because my gut, which was not accurate at all, was like, well, I mean, maybe it's one of the apartments and there's other ladies in there that are in the same field. And but no, we're talking about the actress here. He was in her building.
Yeah, it's a little creepy.
The eerie personal connection sent Garbus straight back to the family. She knew the story wasn't over, and it wasn't just about one killer. It was about how a system failed to care until a case landed on its front lawn. The documentary doesn't hold back. It features first-person accounts from survivors and friends of the victims, including women who once worked in the sex trade, and shared chilling stories about close calls with Heuermann. One woman, Taylor, tells the harrowing tale of being lured into a house where she believes someone else was trapped upstairs. Her story is laced with trauma, but also with strength. She and others like her speak now because they could not before. Let's watch the trailer, shall we? Let's go into
Do I
this.
have to? This story, this whole case is just, when this goes to trial, I told Tony off air, I'm taking vacation. I'm storing up all of my vacation.
And I said,
I don't want to
no,
hear
you're
it.
not.
I know. You a-hole. I don't want to see this case. I don't want to see any part of it. It hits me way too close.
Yeah, I mean, it's
It
dark.
does.
It's dark. It's creepy. And this guy is. What? Let's watch the trailer. Then I'll ask you more
Okay.
questions.
911 system.
These people are flying to kill me.
Do you need the police?
No, you stop that, please.
Shannan Gilbert disappeared in May 2010.
I will continue to fight until I bring my girl home.
Months after Shannan disappeared, police were searching the side of Ocean Parkway, and they learned that this was a bigger case than they imagined.
Police on Long Island are searching for a serial killer.
We had somebody who's targeting sex workers.
Basically with impunity right under everyone's nose.
We found 3 sets of human remains in one day.
It's unbelievable. A fifth person, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. None of them Shannan Gilbert.
It's been 16 years. I was so tired of being sad that I was just angry.
There's very little coverage when the sex worker falls off the grid.
There were red flags, one after the other, as to what was not looked into by the police.
I need people to realize that justice hasn't been served.
There was corruption here.
What if it was someone that you love? How would you feel if nobody came looking for you?
After 13 years of investigation, there's a changing of the guard.
We knew the killer used burner phones around Massapequa Park.
They started looking at clues and evidence and interviews.
I told the cops weeks before she went missing. There was this giant who had come to the house.
I truly believe we're going to get down to the bottom of who committed these crimes.
My sister deserves justice. I've been waiting for this for a long time.
This case is not over.
How many more victims could there be?
March 31st on Netflix is when that comes out.
That's you were going to ask a question.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I don't remember at this moment.
There are so many possibilities there could be hundreds of missing women and possibly men too, that were never, and I'm going to say this, and I don't want to have it be, oh my God, she's talking poorly about sex workers. And I don't mean it this way, but our society views them differently.
Yeah.
So when one disappears, it doesn't seem to be a big freaking deal. And
That's
I think
how,
that's incredibly sad.
I'm not saying that's right, but that is
No.
how our society deals with it and has dealt with it. And it's the same way it deals with minorities too, and coverage like that. I mean, it's insane. It's sick.
It is.
It's not good. It is a societal problem that certainly exists. And I can't tell you. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it doesn't make it right, but it is what it is. It is out there.
Whoever was doing this knew that this was an avenue they could go down where detection probably wouldn't happen.
Well,
if you were
no,
going after, and I might raise a few flags here with some people, but if you were just going after a blonde white woman, you might get way more attention than if you were to go to quote unquote the ladies of the night. And
Well, the lady of the night could easily be a blonde white woman.
It could be, absolutely.
Yeah, it's not necessarily, it's the trade in general that is not going to be investigated further. But and especially when your chief, what was he, the chief of police, something? Yeah.
I believe that's who it was.
When he seems to have some maybe connections over there, and if you started going down some of those roads, which I think a lot of us have assumed may be the case, again, this is just conjecture, and that person may have a vested interest in not having people go down those roads, these cases don't get investigated.
It's such an ugly, ugly place to be. Being from Minnesota, I keep up on Minnesota news, and you're like, why are you bringing up Minnesota? Well, there's a very good reason. There was a senator? No. Hang on. I need to find out what he was. Eichhorn was his name. He decided to, yes, he was a state senator, arrested in a sting for soliciting an underage minor for sex.
That was like in the last few days, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was in the last few days. And this is a guy who thought that he was hooking up with, I think, a 17-year-old.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
There's just this underbelly of people going after things and then portraying that they are a certain way during their daily life, that they are so against this, but then in their nightlife, this is what they do. And I just feel like there's a lot of this going on. And maybe Rex Heuermann, he allegedly is who we're looking for this. He had this great daytime persona of this architect and just, an upstanding guy. And then at night, the veil comes off.
I wouldn't call him a great persona. He just kind of seemed like a weird ogre type guy that people are like, he's kind of a weird dude. but never like, I don't think anybody suspected him of being the Long Island serial killer. I mean, unless you knew what the hell he was doing.
But he was intimidating.
No, yeah, he's huge.
Yeah, and you remember was it a secretary that worked for him that she went on a cruise, and then a letter got shoved under her door on the cruise?
Yeah.
And it was from him, and he basically was like stalking her.
Yeah.
It makes you look around like, who amongst us is doing some weird shit? I'm not saying it's a big problem, but is it your neighbor? The one that goes out to the mailbox and looks like they lead just a very normal life? What are they doing down in their basement when the sun goes down?
Yeah, no, I hear you.
And this senator, the state senator, Justin Eichhorn is his name. He seemed like an upstanding guy, has a wife, 4 kids.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
How old are the kids? How old are the kids?
That's a really good question. I'm not sure, but they're young. They're probably the age of the one he was soliciting.
That's what I'm really creeped out by.
Mm-hmm.
Can you find that out?
Yeah, I sure can. Yeah, it's just a completely messed up story, and I gasped out loud when I saw this. He will only be able to see people under the age 18, including his own children, when supervised by the court. So they must be all under 18. It's just a bad story.
Yeah.
I mean, he showed up. He actually showed up 3 miles from where my mom used to live. in Bloomington, Minnesota. He showed up with a condom and $128 and a burner phone.
And then Chris Hansen was there. Hey, have a seat.
Pretty much. It was a complete sting operation, but he had been texting for days.
Oh my, what is wrong with these people? Like, you get to the level of being a state senator, and that's no easy feat to get there. And you have this depravity in you to this level that you're willing to risk it all. Not even just how immoral and horrible and shitty it is what you're doing, but you're willing to, and because I bring that up of willing to risk it all because these people are typically narcissists because they care about themselves and that's about it. They don't have emotions or empathy for others. Otherwise, they wouldn't be doing this. Because I'm sorry, if you have those sort of emotions, you don't tend to go down this road because it's icky and it's weird and these are human fucking beings.
Yeah. And what bothers me so much about this is that he couldn't put himself in the shoes of if this was a 17-year-old he was going to meet up with. She has parents, most likely. You know, you're a parent of young
4 kids.
children. Why can't you take a look and go, I would never want this to happen to my child?
Yes, there is certainly that. And also going, what if I got caught? What if I got caught?
That too.
What if my children are now going to know that? May not at this exact moment, but they will know it. Oh yeah, Dad got caught trying to solicit a minor when I was a kid. What the and you're okay with it. Your ego, your sense of yourself is so much, it's so great, it's so huge that you cannot, you don't even take into consideration the trauma and the lives around you of what impact that's going to make on them. I don't know. That to me is just so, from a parent aspect, is insane. But there's some people who just don't have it. They do not have the parenting gene or whatever it is that that human being that you've created. Once they're out there, guess what? That's your now life goal, is to protect that person for the rest of your life. And to and by protect them, it doesn't mean protect them from outside forces. Protect them from anything stupid you might do too.
Yeah.
And not
you
ever
can destroy their entire life by one action.
It's like people like that. It's like if they do it, the best thing for any of these kids is to basically, Dad's dead. Is how I would look at it. I mean, it's like you did that horrible of a thing. There's no walking this back. There's no, oh, I made some bad choices, or no. Well, of course you made horrible choices, but you made those horrible choices, and you know what? All these other people around you who have their lives to lead don't need to be affected by your bad choices anymore, and you will continue to make them because that's who you are. If you've gone this far and you've gone down this road, I'm going to guess it's probably not the first time.
Right. That's the other thing. How long has this been going on? I have a hard time believing he just got caught the one time. Like, this is the only time he's done it. He's probably inched up to this point. You may find that he was on some, on the dark web looking for some stuff, and this was the first one that he actually went to, but I don't know. I just wonder, who are these people who look at this situation and go, I'm going to do this on a Thursday night or whatever it was, and think that there's no consequences. He just destroyed his wife. He just destroyed his kids. He just destroyed his entire career. He's going to go to prison I'm assuming they're going to convict him. They found pictures, or him requesting pictures on his phone. And asking how much it would cost to have sex without a condom to a girl who was underage.
And why?
So he was willing to take a risk. If he had met up with this person, that number one, she could get pregnant. Number two, he could have gotten a sexually transmitted disease. I mean, there's so many things that he didn't seem to care about here. And that, when we go back to Rex Heuermann, I look at it and go, how far down the rabbit hole did you go that you didn't think about anybody but yourself, including the victims, your own family, the community you live in? Look at what you're doing.
That's the power of narcissism. It's
disease.
Like, I mean, it really is. I mean, it's like, remember the old, like, this is your brain on drugs, where they crack the egg, before it cost $40 for an egg. And
right.
we used to crack eggs in pans and just fry them up. And if we broke one, it wasn't a big deal.
Right.
I have no idea what eggs cost. I just know people talk about it. I don't buy a lot of eggs, but yeah, I mean, I feel like there needs to be, and I feel like there is a bit of an awakening on this topic of narcissists and who they are and what to expect than we've had in the past. I feel like when you talk to someone now who has dealt with one in their life, like directly in a traumatizing way, they've done their homework usually. If they want to get better and away from this and heal from that sort of damage. And I think a lot of people are more aware of that now, of how these people operate. And it's like they all go to the same damn convention or something and go, here's how to be a horrible human being and how to act, and kind of gaslight people left and right. And a lot of people will eventually not want to be around you ever. But you just keep moving through people. And that's what they do.
Right.
Yeah. That's,
it's just a lot, isn't it?
That is what a narcissist
I don't
is.
see a difference between, I'm not saying that Justin Eichhorn has murdered people. That's not what I'm saying at all. But is this where you begin? And then your next, if you didn't get caught, does the next one escalate a little more? And
I don't know that it goes to murder. No, I mean, I think it's a sexual perversion that, and why? Like, look, even if you're that horrible of a human being, you're gonna go cheat on your wife and your 4 kids. There are people out there of age that you could choose to do that with. Right. Why the 17-year-old?
Yeah, why not just hook up with somebody at a bar who's of age and consenting?
Or an 18-year-old. Like, what? Like, if that's what you want to do, if that's what you're hell-bent on doing, there's ways of doing that where it's not going to then, I mean, it would destroy your life if you get caught, especially if you're a senator, but not to this level where it's a minor. Like, why?
Yeah,
what is that?
You're going to be listed as a pedophile.
What kind of extra thrill are you getting there by a year? It's just like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? And for the love of God, you're a parent.
That's to me the more egregious. I mean, it's terrible what he did, but how do you face your own children? I need to find out how old his kids are.
Yeah.
How do you look at your wife ever again?
You just don't care,
court.
I think, is the answer. You just don't care. You don't care about anybody's feelings other than your own. You are out for yourself. I mean, that's ultimately what it's a demonstration of, is just the ultimate in selfishness. I don't care that I'm going to go violate this minor. I'm going to pay her. You're with a freaking minor, you idiot. And
you
then
don't have to be.
No, I mean, it's so hard to really wrap your mind around any of it, because you can't. And at the end of the day, it's just such this selfish ego that they think they're not going to get caught. Mm-hmm. The same reason they think that it's a good idea to do it, because the rules don't apply to them. Again, all roads lead to narcissism, and this is another one of them.
Craving non-stop true crime updates? Press subscribe now and get the latest cases, analysis, and expert commentary delivered straight to your feed. Only from the Hidden Killers podcast and True Crime Today.